Hey everybody, want to welcome you to the Secret Studio. I'm Brian Welter, and with me is Pastor Michael Rowe.
Hey everybody.
Hey Mike, we got a fun show today. Interesting stuff. We're going to talk about dinosaurs.
Yeah, we are.
We got a lot of stuff. We're going to talk about a little bit about a lot of stuff, and quite interesting stuff as well.
Yeah, it is.
So let's just get started. And,
okay.
Who doesn't know about dinosaurs?
No kidding. Dinosaurs are really fun, and we all played with the dinosaur toys when we were kids.
I had them.
Yeah, me too. And everybody likes the idea of dinosaurs, and of course we got all the movies and everything.
Right.
So there's a lot of stuff about dinosaurs, but the idea that we get with dinosaurs, I say from modern science, is that dinosaurs officially they say were 65 to 100 million years ago.
Yeah.
And of course we got a lot of bones and everything. So obviously the dinosaurs were in fact here. That's everybody knows that.
Right.
We did have dinosaurs here
on Earth
once upon a time. It's just a matter of when.
Made up thing.
Right. And what they will try to tell you in our schools and in our teaching universities and everywhere else is that the dinosaurs were 100 million years ago, or 100 million years before man, that is, even showed up on this earth.
Right.
And that it's an ancient thing of 100 million years ago.
Yeah.
And they try to fit it in with evolution, and it fits in perfectly, they say. And as a matter of fact, evolution wouldn't even work right if it wasn't for the fact that dinosaurs were 100 million years ago. And so that's why they stay on this thing about dinosaurs being 100 million years. But when we look at the evidence, we discover that that's not actually true. And you don't see this kind of evidence around, and the reason you don't is because it goes against evolution entirely.
Yeah.
It goes along with the creation model perfectly.
Right.
So if you want to bring up the first picture, we can explain. This is the geologic time scale. This is what you get in every geology textbook in the country, in high school or college. And what it is a scale that was made up that shows about the years of things. And so down there on the bottom, these are supposed to be the oldest things. And you got some little sea creatures there and some other things that were 600 million years ago, they say. And you move up through the scale, and then you have the dinosaurs there around 100 million years ago. And then above that, you have the caveman and the saber-toothed tiger and
right.
We
have man.
The mammoth there, and then above that is man, the modern period.
Yeah.
And they say that in the dirt, in the layers of dirt, anywhere in the world, you will find this model, and this is where the things are in the strata. But what you find in reality is that is not the case. Some of those animals that were on the top are actually found way down on the bottom of the time scale, and some of those animals way down on the bottom are found way up on the top.
Yeah, it doesn't fit that map, does
it? It doesn't fit the map. In fact, we don't see that map as being correct anywhere.
Yeah.
It's only something that somebody thought sounded good, and I used to have the names of those guys, and I didn't bring it with me today, that actually made the scale. But it sounded good to them, and so they went with it.
Yeah.
And that's basically the Bible of evolution, is that geological time scale that you see there. And so that's why anybody of science says anything about ancient stuff, they bring out the geologic scale, which I think came out in the mid 1800s is when it was, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Anyway, so let's talk about some scientists. Now, there are many, many scientists that follow the evolutionary scale, that believe in evolution. But what you don't hear is there's actually two kinds of science going on. There are hundreds of scientists and even thousands of scientists that go with the creation model, and they reject the evolutionary model. And anything you hear about any new discoveries or anything always goes to the scientists that believe in the evolutionary model, and you never hear about the scientists that believe in the creation model. Right. But there are thousands of scientists that believe in the creation model, and you never hear about it. And they reject the geologic scale that we just saw, and they reject any of the evolution stuff. They say that there's much more to this in the creation model. So there's two kinds of sciences going on. That's what you got to understand first. And creationism, of course, is based on Jesus Christ.
Right.
And the Bible. It all goes together, and beautifully, of course. So dinosaurs are giant animals that are now extinct, of course. There were 65% of the dinosaurs were herbivores, and 35 of them were carnivores. So that's just kind of the breakdown of the dinosaurs that were here. Of course, there are various giant birds and giant fish too that were dinosaurs. But the first discovery that we have on record of giant bones was in 1676 in England. They discovered some giant bones, and they turned out to be dinosaur, but they didn't know at the time, of course. In fact, there wasn't even the term dinosaur. Now, the first dinosaur skeleton that was completely put together was in 1809.
It's not really that long ago.
No, it's not that long ago at all. And in fact, the term dinosaur did not come around until 1841. In 1841, a guy coined the term. His name was Richard Owen, and it was Dinosauria. And Dinosauria, what that means is terrible lizard.
Okay.
And this came around in 1841. So 1809 was the first skeleton put together.
So
And
he's
then
obviously seen some stuff.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Come up with his name.
Yep, exactly.
It's kind of funny.
So then, and it stuck, and that's where we got the term dinosaur.
Yeah.
So there are 300 different kinds of complete specimens, of different specimens of dinosaur. 300 different kinds of specimens. Now, the number one most popular dinosaur that we all know is the T-Rex, and here we have a fine a specimen right here,
Yeah.
full scale T-Rex. This is the most popular of all the dinosaurs. The first one of these was found in 1902, and it was found in Montana, so just right up northwestern United States.
Yeah.
1902. Now, these were 20 feet tall, and we have found only 12 full specimens in the entire world of T-Rex.
The T-Rex.
That's
wow.
right. Now, there's thousands of different bones around, so we know there were thousands of these creatures.
Parts and
But we
stuff,
only
yeah.
have 12 full specimens. Now, the interesting thing about this guy is he was 20 feet tall, which was plenty tall, to be sure, 20 feet.
Yeah.
But in the movies, we get 6-story and 7- and 8-story tall T-Rexes, which isn't even close to being the truth. They were only 20 feet tall.
Yeah.
So they were big, but they weren't like unbelievably
Still
big.
a terrible lizard, you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I wouldn't want to come and
That's a
meet
terrible
one of
lizard,
those.
all right. Yeah. So that's the T-Rex. The next one is the Triceratops. Well, we missed one there. I think that's the Stegosaurus. But we can, if you can't find the Triceratops, we'll just go to
Okay.
Stegosaurus.
I'll look for him.
Okay. But well, on the Stegosaurus here, this one here, this was the size of a 30-foot school bus. Now, this was first found in Colorado.
There he is.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll go back to this one.
Sorry.
Triceratops. Try this again.
Triceratops.
Now, this was the size of an African elephant.
Oh, wow. That's pretty big.
Big, but not
not-
30-foot
not
school
that
bus
big.
size. Like the Stegosaurus is 30-foot school bus.
Yeah.
And this is an African elephant size. So they had the 3 horns, of course. You know, we've all seen this.
Yeah, they were one of my favorites. In the,
Oh, yeah, and they're very cool.
Yeah.
The first one of these was found in Denver in 1887. And we have 3 mostly full skeletons. We don't have any full skeletons of this creature.
Wow.
But once again, thousands of bones all over the place. There were thousands of these. But it was so long ago that the bones are so spread out, you don't hardly find them much anymore. But a fascinating creature. Now, the Stegosaurus I was talking about, this one here, this is a smaller one in the museum, but they were as long as a school bus, about 30 feet. So these were a very, very big creature. They were grass eaters and plant eaters, so they didn't attack you or anything. But the first one of these was found in Colorado in 1876, and we only have 1 full skeleton of this in the entire world.
Wow.
And but we have lots and lots and lots of bones, and there were thousands of them. And so he's a very interesting creature. We all had models of that too as
Yeah.
kids, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And so the next one is an Acrocathosaurus. Now this is similar to the T-Rex, except that his teeth were thinner and sharper, and he had like a sail fin on his back. A huge sail fin, in fact. This one was found in Oklahoma in the 1940s, and there's only 1 full skeleton found in the entire world. But same situation as the other ones, thousands of bones all over the place. There were thousands of these.
When you think about this, we think there's just tons of these everywhere.
Yeah,
Every museum has
Right.
one,
right.
but it's not the case.
But every museum has copies.
Copies, yeah.
But as far as having a real, this is probably a copy here too.
Probably.
This picture, but there is one real one somewhere.
Yeah.
That is the actual bones. But we we've got all the records on them, so you can make all the bones and every pieces, and so we can see. So it's actually quite a valuable thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad we have that.
Yep.
Okay, so the next one is the Brontosaurus. You remember how big these are? These are the biggest of the dinosaurs. We know them as Brontosauruses. The name has been changed since then by scientists. Call them an Apatosaurus. But anyway, they're about 70 to 90 feet long, and we have never found a full specimen of this. We found all individual pieces of different ones, so you could make a whole skeleton, but you never found a whole complete skeleton of one of these. Has never been found.
Really?
Yeah.
Not together, you're saying?
Not together.
Yeah.
So look, it's so big
Yeah.
that unless you just happen to find one that was buried and the dirt turned to rock or something, I mean, you wouldn't find one.
Yeah.
It would have been spread about. So, but the main thing we want to really talk about today is the fact that dinosaurs are not 65 to 100 million years ago. We are being lied to. This is a model of evolution that we've been told and we've all been taught in our schooling years. And now in the newspapers and the magazine articles, you go over this again and again and again. They say the dinosaurs 65 to 100 million years ago. That is not true. We're being lied to. Now we're going to go over some of this evidence now so that you can see for yourselves that the biblical model of the flood explains all the dinosaurs and everything. It is not 65 to 100 million years ago. We're being lied to. So the first piece of evidence we're going to go to is Acambaro, Mexico. And this is a place that in 1944 was discovered. There was a guy named Waldemar Julesrud, and he was a German merchant and archaeologist, kind of an amateur archaeologist. And he was digging around there, and he found some clay figurines. And he found thousands and thousands of these clay figurines. It actually ended up being to over 33,000 of these clay figurines. And these figurines were mainly being buried underneath the threshold of homes. And they probably thought that they kept evil spirits out or what have you, or for good luck or something or other. But they had these clay figurines, and they buried them under the threshold. And so Julesrud started finding this out. So he had to just dig where he knew there used to be homes, and you'd find more. And so more and more and more and more were found. Now, these figurines have been dated to 3,000 to 5,000 years ago. And the dating is from pottery and burial sites and stuff in the area. So you know about what time they were. It isn't from radiocarbon dating.
Yeah.
So somewhere to 3,000 to 5,000 years ago. So these are very, very interesting. And you got to pull up the first one because this will be... Now, what does this look like to you?
Yeah, that's what we were just looking at. Only
yeah, that's right.
Miniature figurine.
That's right. This, of course, looks like a dinosaur. Yeah. Now, this is 3,000 to 5,000 years ago. The first dinosaur bone ever found on record is 1600. In the 1600s, you'll recall. And the first skeleton put together was 1809.
These are way before
now, you have 3,000 to 5,000 years ago. Now, they tell us evolution 100 million years before man was ever here were the dinosaurs. But these people were making figurines of dinosaurs. Now, let's go through a couple of these, and you can kind of scroll through kind of fast if you want to. And you can just see that they're clay figurines. Now, scientists will tell you that, the reason you have these is because these are faked. Because the reason we know they're faked is because there were no dinosaurs in Mexico 5,000 years ago. They were 100 million years ago. That's how we know they're faked. That's what they'll tell you. Now, whenever you make a discovery like this, there are people that make fake ones because they can make money. Now, hold this picture for a minute. Because they know they can make money if they can sell to the tourists and so forth, But you can tell the fakes from the legitimate ones easily.
Yeah.
Just like any expert can tell a fake from a real.
Yeah,
because you don't have the same patina and all that kind of stuff.
Do it just with the pottery, like you said before, that was buried with, and so on.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we have these 33,000 plus figurines.
That's a lot.
That's right. Of dinosaurs. Now, this is very, very, very interesting. Because if they are not fakes, and I can tell you these are not fakes, you have people that either were seeing dinosaurs or knew about dinosaurs thousands of years before we discovered the first dinosaur bone. Okay, you can go on down to the next slide now. There's another one here.
Well, these look like dinosaur figures to me.
Yeah, they do. Oh, yes, they do. Of course they do.
Yeah.
And they do to everyone else, too.
That's why we're showing a bunch, because there's no mistaking.
That's right. Yeah, that's
You
right.
could show anybody, little kids, whoever.
Yeah.
They would say.
In
"Oh,
fact,
let
should
me
we
play
should
with
we
the
should we
dinosaur."
see all 33,000 right now?
No,
Okay,
it's
maybe that's not enough time for that. Okay, so this is the last one of these, like it's sort of like an brontosaurus here or an apatosaurus,
Yeah.
And this is what you find buried. So you say, well, that's very interesting. You have dinosaurs at a time when you shouldn't have dinosaurs, and you have people making dinosaur figurines that science tells us they didn't know about. Okay, so you have a problem. Now, these next set of pictures are very, very interesting because they will show humans interacting with dinosaurs.
I think I have one more here.
Okay, let's see it. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go. Another one. You can see the spikes on its back and so forth. That is dinosaur. That's not mistakable for anything. Oh, and here I wanted to tell about this one.
Okay.
This is dragon-ish looking.
Yeah, it looks like dragonish. Yeah.
Many dinosaurs were dragon-looking, by the way. And we're going to talk about that a little bit as we go on here.
Okay. So you're saying about the humans interacting with
We
these-
also have figurines that seem to show, and everybody can make your own decision when you see these, humans interacting with dinosaurs. Go ahead and bring up the
It's kind of
the
funny,
next one.
but it's a serious thing.
Yes, it is. Now here you got a guy that apparently is some type of a pet dinosaur. As you see, he's interacting with it. It looks like he's hugging it or whatever, but at least now shows people interacting with dinosaurs. So now you have another problem that's even worse than the first problem. Okay, because the first problem is they shouldn't have known about dinosaurs, and if they did know about dinosaurs, then it was passed down through centuries. But there wouldn't have been any people with dinosaurs. Now look at this one. This guy didn't have as much luck with his dinosaur because it looks like maybe this is not a good situation to me. What do you think?
It's not a pet.
This is not a pet situation here. Okay, the next one. Here's another guy also not having a good time.
Yeah.
Good kitty. This is not good.
Nothing.
It looks like
that at all.
the interaction with the dinosaurs could be.
Is that his tongue sticking out?
Yeah,
there?
that's his tongue sticking out.
He's just
His tongue sticking
being
out.
Strangled.
Yeah. It looks to me like if you do have a dinosaur, you got to be careful with them, at the very least, from seeing these figurines.
Yeah.
Okay, and the next. Here is appears to be a dead guy being eaten by a dinosaur. So definitely not a good thing for this guy.
It's just interesting to me because these are goofy pictures, but it was so important somebody made this thing.
Thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
3,000 to 5,000 years ago, when there was no such thing as any dinosaurs ever being found, and 100 million years before mankind even got here, you have thousands and thousands of figurines of dinosaurs interacting with people. Okay, and the last one here, I think, on this,
There's
a couple more.
like
Okay,
two more.
here's another guy. Not
Oh.
all that good of a thing happening here.
They
It looks like to me.
Yeah, they even made him look dead.
Yeah, he's got his neck is being ripped out by a dinosaur. So
Somebody saw this.
so the
and it
people-
made an impression.
Yeah, this would have made an impression on you, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So somebody not only knew that there were dinosaurs, but there were people alive at the same time as dinosaurs, and the dinosaurs were fairly dangerous to deal
Yeah,
with.
I would say so.
It looks as though it was trouble for some guys.
And this one here.
Now this is the last one. This looks like an obvious Triceratops.
Yeah.
And a guy riding the Triceratops. This is not the only one of these we'll find. But it's very interesting because you're using this as a tool. This is being used as a tool. So this tells us something, again, even more. There were dinosaurs around. There were people interacting with dinosaurs. Some of the dinosaurs were dangerous. Some of the dinosaurs were deadly. And some of the dinosaurs were used as tools. This is exactly what we find today. And we use oxes and horses and camels as tools. And we have other animals that are dangerous. Lions and tigers and so forth. Right? It's the very same thing. Only they were apparently dealing with dinosaurs.
Until they got mad,
Yeah.
just like modern day animals.
33,000. Do you have a time on how long we've been going here?
20 minutes.
Okay. Let's end it right here, and we'll pick up in part 2.
Okay.
And we'll go with our next set of evidence. This next ones are Inca burial stones, and these you don't want to miss because these are really fascinating.
Perfect. Sounds good.